Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. First off, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We thought this would be a great opportunity to give you a sneak preview of what Watchman Premium membership looks like. Now, we recently passed 500,000 subscribers here on the channel. Hard to believe, but we wanted to offer a little something more for our loyal watchmen and women on the wall who are tuning in every single day. Don't worry, if you're a subscriber, nothing changes, but if people are interested, we wanted to offer some extra little perks, and that's what premium membership on the channel is. What does it look like? Today you'll get a good idea of one of the features, an exclusive first look at every brand new episode of the Watchman TV show before it hits the air. Remember, if you like the Watchman newscast here on YouTube every day, you will love our 30-minute weekly show on TBN, the world's largest Christian television network. We air every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time and Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We are on the ground in Israel and elsewhere throughout the Middle East, Europe, throughout the United States, throughout the world, bringing you the inside story every week on the Watchman TV show. So we thought it would be a very cool feature to offer that to people before it even hits the air each week, with the added bonus of some exclusive behind-the-scenes commentary about the episode from yours truly. So that's what you're getting today. That's one feature of premium membership. Another is premium member live streams. We've done one so far. We have plans to do more in the weeks and months ahead, where it's just me and premium members doing a live stream. We still do our regular live streams for all subscribers, of course, every weekend, but the premium one pretty much guarantees you'll get your questions answered, which is nice. As you guys know, on our live streams every week, we run out of time and we don't always get to every question. Great questions that our viewers send in. For $4.99 a month, not too bad. You help keep the channel on the air. First and foremost, you keep us going. But secondly, you get some of these perks, which we thought would be pretty cool to offer to all of our loyal viewers. So premium membership, if you're interested, you can go to join on the homepage and check that out. Let's dig in. This is a free trial, I guess you would say. So let's dig into this week's episode of The Watchman Show. Again, airing Thanksgiving night, November 24th and Friday, November 25th. And this is a good one, folks, because we're featuring my exclusive interview with one of the hottest names in American politics right now, for sure, and in the conservative movement, and a possible nominee for the GOP presidency in 2024. I'm talking about none other than Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Now, he is fresh off a resounding re-election win in Florida about 2 weeks ago, an historic victory where he essentially he has helped turn the entire state of Florida red. It's a deep red state now, certainly a Republican conservative state. And Ron DeSantis has some amazing accomplishments in the Sunshine State. Folks, there's a reason why people and businesses are flocking to Florida today. They're emphasizing faith, family, and freedom. And that's a great thing. And I wanted to interview Governor DeSantis about whether his policies and strategies that are so successful in Florida could be a blueprint for America writ large, for restoring America. That was the title of a special I produced and hosted recently for TBN, featuring my interviews with Governor DeSantis, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, former Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann, Reverend Franklin Graham, Matthew Peterson of New Founding. You can check it out here on the channel, the full 60-minute show, Restoring America, under U.S. News, the U.S. News category. Scroll around a little bit. It aired on November 7th, Restoring America. My interview with Governor DeSantis was part of that special, but in case anyone missed it, I wanted to air it on the Watchman Show as well, because I believe, folks, that this is an important interview. Again, this may be the guy, at least on the Republican side, in 2024, and I'd like for you to get to know him a bit better. I wanted to get to know him better too, and that's why I set up the interview, and his team was gracious enough on the eve of his election in Florida to agree to the interview. Couldn't do it face-to-face, unfortunately. Folks, if I look tired here, I literally just got off a plane from Israel ran up to New York City the next morning early to do this interview remotely via satellite. Governor DeSantis was in Florida. I was at the TBN studio in New York City, but I think it went very well, and I was able to ask him about his faith, which I haven't seen many do, so it was really nice to see him open up about that. And he talked about supporting his wife through her battle against cancer, and he's got a beautiful young family. Pretty accomplished guy on many levels, not only what he's doing in Florida, but also a decorated military veteran, a former baseball player at Yale, so well-rounded guy. And what I love about Governor DeSantis is his boldness and his strong take against that woke movement, that radical left-wing ideology that seeks to tear down the very foundations of America and Judeo-Christian Western civilization. He said during his re-election speech a few weeks ago that Florida is, quote, where woke goes to die. Well, that was music to my ears, folks, I'll tell you that much. So I think you'll enjoy this exclusive interview with Governor DeSantis. But we do head to Jerusalem, my second home, for a fascinating look inside Israeli innovation as well in this episode. There's a great company called BioHarvest based in Israel, and they are producing a product, a fascinating product called Vinia, V-I-N-I-A. Now, if you watch The Watchman on a regular basis, we've talked a lot about that Israeli innovation, Israel stepping into its biblical destiny as a light unto the nations. And I've said many times that if a cure for cancer or Alzheimer's is found in the next few years, I believe it will be found in Israel. The genius of the Jewish people harnessed in this one state, and just with these medical, scientific, high-tech breakthroughs that are improving people's lives and health every day. God is using Israel for such a time as this. And Vinia, what a product. They are taking all the benefits of grapes, and in particular red wine, and putting it in a capsule without the alcohol. The CEO of Vinia, as you're about to see, I don't want to give too much away. We're going to toss to the show in a second, but Ilan Sobel says, look, there's something called the French paradox, where the French have a diet high in fat and cholesterol, and yet they still have good heart health because they drink a lot of red wine every day. There's health benefits to red wine. Well, again, Vinia has been able to put all of that in a capsule with no alcohol and none of the negative effects, and it is helping to change people's lives, expanding their arteries, improving their blood flow, improving their heart health, their minds, their energy. Fascinating what they've been able to do with this product, Vinia. So I think you'll like that as well. And some cool locations there in Jerusalem where incredible old city backdrop. Also, we went to a vineyard outside of Jerusalem for this story as well to see some of those grapes up close. Interesting how they're doing it with the technology. I don't want to give too much away, but I think you will enjoy this brand new episode of The Watchman Show. Again, hey, you can see this before anyone else with some behind the scenes commentary as well. If you're interested in premium membership, just go to join on the homepage. We'd love to have you. And remember, every Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, Fridays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, the show airs on TBN. Without further ado, here it is. I believe this is episode 242, maybe 241. No, 242 episodes under our belt of the Watchman TV show. Only God could help us do that. Hard to believe. And we hope you enjoy it. Take care. I will see you soon. God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace. This week on The Watchman, fresh off his resounding re-election victory, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis joins us for an exclusive interview. Can the policies he's used so successfully in Florida provide a blueprint for restoring America? And why is it so important to defeat the radical woke movement that challenges the very foundations of the United States?
They want to delegitimize the founding principles of our country. They want to delegitimize our key institutions, starting with our Constitution. And they want our organizing principles of modern society to basically be a form of leftism.
Plus, we're in Jerusalem to learn the secret behind an Israeli super supplement that's using an ancient, God-given source to transform lives today. It's Israeli innovation in action, only right here on The Watchman. Welcome to the Watchman. We want to get right into our exclusive interview with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. He just won an historic re-election victory and is being talked about as a potential Republican presidential nominee for 2024. The rising conservative star joined me for our recent TBN special, Restoring America, to discuss the Florida success story and how it could be a blueprint for turning our country around. Plus, what he's doing to take on the radical woke movement. He says Florida is where woke goes to die. Here's my exclusive interview with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor, welcome. It's great to have you with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Your state is thriving. The population's growing. Businesses are moving to Florida. I have a feeling, Governor, it's for reasons far beyond the great weather. Sanity in schools, personal freedom. Talk about some of the policies that you believe are making Florida such an attractive place for more and more Americans.
Well, you bring up a good point. We've always had sunshine, and we're proud of that. We also have always had lower taxes than a lot of these states. We've never had a state income tax. So those have always been things to draw people to Florida. But I think since I've been governor, we've seen a really sharp increase in people moving, and not just the typical migrations where we'd have Midwesterners moving to Naples or Northeasterners moving to Palm Beach. You have people from the Pacific Northwest taking their whole family and moving to Florida. And I think there's a couple things. I think one, we were a ray of sunshine when it was really dark with the COVID restrictions. You know, our view was we needed to lift people up, not lock people down. We made sure to protect people's livelihoods and businesses, and we had kids in school in person in the 2020 school year when many of these other states would not. And so I think that was a big thing. The other thing is you've got a lot of crime throughout the country. So basically the criminals really get the upper hand. The society starts to fray because you got to have public safety. One of the main things people say when they're moving in is public safety. We have absolutely had parents move their kids to school here and move their families here because we prohibited forced COVID shots on students. We said that's a parent's choice. We're not going to let schools force your kid to do that. That was a big relief for some of the parents leaving out of like California. We've also worked really hard to fight against ideology taking over our schools. We want to teach the basics. We did the bill that got a lot of attention with Disney, the Parents' Rights in Education. But people do not want things like gender ideology and sexuality injected into elementary school curriculums. These are 6, 7, 8-year-old kids. So I think we've really been a refuge of sanity when the rest of the world has really gone mad over the last few years.
Yeah, Governor, I think of the early days of COVID, the Biden administration, the mainstream media criticizing you because, as you said, hey, we're not doing the mask mandates. We're not doing the vaccine mandates. We are keeping the schools open. And hey, a lot of pressure, but you stood strong. Why was that so important to you to stand strong on that issue?
Well, I just followed the data. And at the end of the day, it was very clear after the first 4 to 6 weeks of COVID in 2020 that you needed to keep society going, that kids needed to be in school, and we needed to focus on helping our vulnerable population. And we did that. We did a lot of nursing homes, testing, monoclonal antibodies, you name it. And we were happy to do that. But at the end of the day, you had to keep society functioning. My job was to save the jobs of the people that I represent, even at the expense of my own. And I couldn't just run for cover and try to cover my own political hide when I had people that I had to work to protect. And so I was totally willing to take the arrows because I didn't want the people of my state to have to face those arrows.
And Governor, you mentioned the schools, the gender madness, critical race theory. You've taken a strong stand against that. When it comes to restoring America, why is the school issue so important? It seems to be the issue among a growing number of parents who are fed up, and you've been at the forefront of that in Florida.
Well, the purpose of our school system needs to be to educate kids, not to indoctrinate kids. And my view on that is it's inappropriate to tell a 6-year-old kid that they may have been born in the wrong body. It's inappropriate to tell a 3rd grader that their gender is a choice. Gender ideology, if you want that, go to a graduate seminar at Berkeley or something like that. Don't bring it into our K through 12 schools. And so I think we've drawn a very clear line in the sand on that. And look, what are the results of what we've done? Part of it is open schools. Part of it's focusing on the basics. They just released the NAEP exam results, the only results for all 50 states on K-12 achievement Florida ranked number 3 in the nation for 4th grade reading and number 4 in the nation for 4th grade math. If you adjust for demographics, we are number 1 in the nation in both. That would not be possible if we were taking our eye off the ball and allowing the politicization of our curriculum.
And Governor, you're putting such an emphasis on American exceptionalism, teaching American history, teaching civics even. So exciting things happening in Florida schools. Hey, we talk about CRT, the gender madness, all part of this so-called woke movement, this destructive ideology that is spreading. What do you believe are the ultimate goals of this movement? And why is it so important to defeat it?
They want to delegitimize the founding principles of our country. They want to delegitimize our key institutions, starting with our Constitution. And they want our kind of organizing principles of modern society to basically be a form of leftism. I think we're really having debates about first principles. And I think the woke movement really represents a challenge to America as originally conceived. And I just think if you look through American history, we're at our best when we live up to those founding principles and when we're honoring and respecting our Constitution. And so these are important fights, but they are absolutely fundamental in nature.
Yeah, you mentioned that growing crime wave really sweeping through American cities, Governor. I also think of the poorest border, the southern border. It seems we can't go about restoring America or really have a secure country if we don't have secure borders. You had a wake-up call for the citizens of Martha's Vineyard recently with some illegal migrants you sent their way. How are you dealing with that issue, which is a big one?
Well, I think if you look, in that Martha's Vineyard got a lot of attention, which is fine. And unfortunately, this was a sanctuary jurisdiction. They advertised that, but when the migrants showed up, they kicked them off the island the next day. So they want to have open borders for you and me, but they don't want to live under the consequences of that. And I think we've seen the consequences of the border in the fentanyl crisis that we see. We are much worse off than we were 2 years ago with the supply of fentanyl pouring in across the southern border. 18 to 45, the number 1 cause of death in our country right now is fentanyl overdose. That is impacting communities all across this country. You also look at the sheer number of people who have come, millions and millions illegally. We don't know who they are. There are absolutely criminal aliens in that mix, and they did do almost 98 suspected terrorists in the last fiscal year were found across the southern border. And that's just what we know of. So in terms of security, it's been an absolute disaster. So I have had people down. Last year, we sent Florida law enforcement to help Texas to be at the border. We have different operations in the state of Florida where we have interdicted narcotics and other smuggling operations. And of course, we do have the relocation ability and program. So we're doing everything we can. And look, we just need to have the rule of law prevail. We need a secure border. But what's been going on since Biden took office is utter chaos, and it's causing huge problems throughout our country.
Governor, you seem to be laying out a common sense vision in times where common sense is not so common. Hey, you mentioned terrorism, and you were on the front lines in the war on terror. You're a decorated U.S. military veteran. You are still in the U.S. Navy Reserve, so your service to this country goes far beyond politics. How did that time in the military shape your view of leadership and your vision for your state going forward?
Well, actually, if you think about the Hurricane Ian response, the way that we structure that, we really do follow a military chain of command structure. We have, of course, I'm the head of the executive branch. We have our emergency management director is beneath me. And then we fold in all of our state agencies to report up through the EM director and then through me. And so all these agencies came together to help in various ways. So, for example, our Department of Transportation, we had 2 bridges knocked out to some of the barrier islands in Southwest Florida. The residents were being told it was going to be 6 months to a year to be able to get connectivity back. And they asked me for help. These weren't state roads or bridges, but I said, yeah, we'll help. So we got our Department of Transportation. We fixed 1 bridge in 3 days. We fixed the Sanibel Causeway, which had been severed in 3 places in 2 weeks. And so that is the way you operate, but it starts at the top. We have a very clear chain of command structure, and all these agencies are all pushing in the same direction.
And Governor, last question. You recently stood by your wife Casey's side as she battled cancer. You have a beautiful young family. You've obviously got, as you just mentioned, the Hurricane Ian aftermath. You're dealing with a lot of major issues. How has your faith helped get you through these trying times and been an anchor in your life?
Well, I tell people this all the time. When my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer, it was like a ton of bricks on our family. Very difficult situation. We discussed, hey, do we make this public? How do we go about it? Because she is a public figure. At the same time, it is a private matter. But we decided to make sure that people knew that, so we made it public. And the outpouring of prayers that we received really lifted our spirits. It lifted her spirits tremendously. And people going and offering their prayers to us throughout the whole ordeal has really helped sustain us. And so, look, because I saw all that, I had faith that this was going to work out very well. I mean, I couldn't tell you how or what. I just always had the faith, and she's come through it beautifully. It's not something you want anyone to go through. But her view on all this is, I'd rather be the one to have to go through it if it means somebody else doesn't. And we're working really well as a family. We got a lot going on. We got a 5'4" and a 2-year-old. Yeah. And so they put us through our paces, but we have a very, very strong bond. And my wife, is doing extremely well. And she really appreciates all the well wishes and all the prayers that people have offered. And I go out of the campaign trail. People come to me, they say, we are still praying for her every day. I'm like, she's fine. They're like, no, we're going to still do it. So thank you.
We will keep praying as well, Governor. That is great to hear. What a great update. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. It was great. Governor Ron DeSantis, God bless.
Hey, God bless you.
Thanks again to Governor DeSantis for joining us. If you want to watch the entire Restoring America special, which also includes my interviews with former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, Reverend Franklin Graham, and more, just go to tbn.org and type in Restoring America in the search bar. Well, up next, we head to Jerusalem to see how one innovative Israeli company is using an ancient God-given source to change people's lives one capsule at a time. That's next. And welcome back. What if you could have all the benefits of a glass of red wine, but without the alcohol? A new Israeli super supplement called Vinia is fitting all of those incredible health benefits into a tiny capsule that can help increase blood flow, improve heart health and energy levels, and sharpen your mind. It's Israeli innovation at work using a God-given ancient source. Let's head to Jerusalem for a closer look. Well, Ilan, we are here in Jerusalem with an amazing view. This is a nation that the Bible said would be a light unto the nations, certainly is today through Israel's amazing innovation. Your company, BioHarvest, in my view, is playing a major part in that. Tell us about BioHarvest, what you do, and why it's so important for our bodies.
BioHarvest, at its core, is a biotechnology company. And we have a mission, really, to fulfill the desire that God had on day 3 of creation of the world. God gave us 500,000 plants, which are so important for our overall health and wellness. The first validation of our technology was on the red grape. And the red grape, we know from a biblical perspective, is so important. Let's go back to when Timothy said to Paul to have a little red wine to improve one's overall health. And if we go to modern history and we look at the French paradox and how the French people today, they consume generally a very fatty diet, lots of pâtés, lots of lipids. However, they have amazing cardiovascular health. And when the scientists went in to understand, they realized it was from moderate consumption of red wine. We took cells from the skin of the red grape, from the actual flesh of the red grape, and from the seed of the red grape. And through our own unique processes, we started to grow these cells in our large bioreactors for 3 weeks. And we figured out over time this amazing way to be able to significantly increase the levels of these critical active ingredients. And in fact, today, Eric, we are the only company in the world that's able to grow piceid resveratrol, which is the gold standard, the Rolls Royce of resveratrol, because it has such amazing solubility. It dissolves very quickly in your body and has long periods of time that it stays in your body and works with your cells. In our technology, we actually increase the levels of the Pisces resveratrol by more than 100 times more than the skin of the red grape. So today, we started to sell Vinia in Israel, where we have a very successful business, and now we're scaling it to the people inside the United States of America, and then on to Europe, and then on to Asia.
Well, Ilan, it is tough to leave this incredible view of Jerusalem.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, gorgeous. It never gets old, as you know, but we're going to go right now to a vineyard where you're going to break down some more of the technology behind Vinia and how it works. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Ilan, you told us earlier about the French paradox. Well, we're in a French vineyard right now, but outside of Jerusalem. Tell us how that French paradox links to Vinia.
The French nation has a very, very fatty diet. Lots of lipids, lots of fats and oils, but they have really good cardiovascular health. And when the scientists wanted to understand why they had such good cardiovascular health with such a fatty diet, they realized that it came from moderate consumption of red wine. Yes, at BioHarvest, with our platform technology, we took the red grape and we took cells from the actual skin, we took cells from the flesh, and cells actually from the seed. And we grow these cells inside bioreactors. And together with the other polyphenols, all working like a symphony, like an orchestra, all together, we get these amazing benefits on the human body to really preserve our overall health and wellness. In one capsule of Vinia, it contains the same amount of Pisces resveratrol as one bottle of red wine or 1,000 grapes. In each capsule, we have 0 sugar, 0 calories, and of course, no alcohol. In our clinical trials, which have actually been published in peer-reviewed scientific journals, we were able to demonstrate that those people that took a capsule of Vinia every day for 90 days, we were able to increase the dilation of their arteries by at least 70% versus baseline. And this is what people are realizing today, the importance of blood flow with more oxygen in the blood and nutrients being carried to all of our organs and body tissues, supporting heart health, improving physical energy and overall mental alertness. It's really bringing the power of the plant to the people.
And all that Israeli high-tech and innovation, all in that little capsule.
We have the best plant cell biologists, doctorates in the world, who have been working on this platform technology for the last 15 years to really do God's work in order to dramatically improve their overall health and wellness. And that's the energy, the positive energy that drives everybody in our organization, in the BioHarvest team.
Ilan, we can't thank you enough for spending time with us today, having fun here in the vineyard and seeing up close what you're doing at Vinia and at BioHarvest. Much more to come, we know, and we will be definitely following all your great progress, your innovation, your trend setting at BioHarvest.
There's no better job in the world to be able to do in a small way God's work. And that's the privilege that we have here, all from the land of Israel. We're doing the best job we can every day to bring this light to all the people around the world.
God's handiwork in that small capsule that is changing people's lives. Thanks again to Ilan Sobel for sharing the amazing story of Vinia with us. Up next, my final thoughts on America, Israel, and God's plan. Stick around. And welcome back. We focus this week on the future of America and Israeli innovation, and 2 verses come to mind right away. First, when it comes to America, to whom much is given, much will be required. If the U.S. descends further into woke madness, the results will not be good for our country or for the world. And when it comes to Israel, the The prophet Isaiah says that God will use Israel as a light unto the nations. And the Israeli innovation that we see with products like Vinia is certainly blessing people around the world. So let's pray that the U.S. and Israel can both do great things for the kingdom of God in these Bible times in which we are living today. The clock is ticking and the need has never been more urgent. Thanks for joining us this week on The Watchman. Until next time, God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, click subscribe, and tap the bell icon to turn on notifications for new Watchman Newscast episodes every weekday.